Hello, hello, we are back. The World Series. It's the Masters Cup, round number 6, and the final round in the Toyota Chia Corolla Maurizio edition, to be precise. So it's Sedania Road Track B for today. As usual, 10-minute qualifying, 30-minute racing action up upon us. And then, yeah, on the home stretch for the Masters Cup. 2 more rounds to go after that one. Porsche 911 GT3 RS will be a weapon of choice for the final 2 rounds. You see Trial Mountain and Dragon Trail Gardens. So we go to the full screen and we have the current championship standings for the Masters Cup. So full service today with the full tables. Each round you see who scored how many points and what the gap is. Currently we are still having Plazi sitting at the front, B Racing in P2 and River Ruckus in P3. So those 3 most likely to compete for the title again. So as we've seen in the previous Rookies Cup as well. So yeah, recently B Racing there with some very strong results, 2 victories in a row after missing 1 round. So can he keep up the trend, or can Bazi strike back today? He always wants to defend home soil, so he's native from Sedania. So he wants to definitely score a victory today. Here and so far in the GT Driver career 2025, every track in Italy, every race was won by Blasi. Oh, we'll see how that goes. Oh, we're a couple of minutes away from qualifying sessions, so get ready for that one. So, as usual, 10 minutes. And for the drivers to set a lap time, a competitive lap time, that is. What are we looking at? So I did a little of a practice run as usual, and I'm expecting mid to low 1 minute 31 for the pole position time. And it should be a 20 lap race later on. So yeah, usual stuff, sport soft tires, times 1 the tire wear, the fuel consumption also set 2 times 1. So again, it will be just a flat out sprint race, 30 minutes, no strategy, just keep it on the track. And this layout, it has many gravel pits where you can beach your car and don't go fast. Also, like, one of the weirdest penalty zones ever in the game. Like, you're approaching that final chicane and they're sitting right in the middle is the penalty zone where it gets slowed down. Like, why? But yeah, so don't get a penalty, but that tricky final chicane definitely not so easy to avoid the penalties. If you take it too easy, you're going too slow. If you're getting in too hard, the car oversteers, gets loose, you get sideways, and then you cut the track. So yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But with that being said, we are starting that qualifying session now. Good luck. That's what I need. I don't need good luck, the drivers need good luck, and also a good performance as usual. Here we go. Qualifying session is now underway for round 6 of the Masters Cup. Now, who will be our onboard driver for this qualifying session? Couch Racing with a good start. He wants to show his skills, probably. So coming out of the pit, heading towards the first turn. Downhill we go into a heavy braking zone. Going into the first chicane. No, Couch doesn't want to be the onboard driver. So we also have Richie, hashtag not Richie, so it's his brother who's driving today on his account. So don't get fooled by the name. So yeah, looks like B Racing will be our quali onboard driver then for the session. Just a quick run through the rest of the drivers. So also the tricky uphill right-hander shouldn't run too wide, lose momentum for the entire uphill part of this. And here B Racing approaching the final sector. Now getting ready for the final chicane. So we jump on board. Gets a decent run out of the chicane and let's go. Nearly 200 kph when he starts the lap. He stays in 5th gear, roughly at that red bar, the 100. Heavy onto the brakes, keep it smooth. A bit deep, but carry the speed. And then into the left-hander, a little lift. You can take it flat if you turn it early enough. Now uphill left-hander, 3rd gear. Don't drift it too much. Early on the power again. Don't run onto the grass on the right-hand side. Bring it over to the left-hand side. Now lift, brake, 3rd gear to get to the apex on the inside. And now it's the run downhill. Little kink, not an issue. And then look at the green bits before the start of the curbing. Get ready for the uphill part. That was decent. No drama at all. And now we go uphill again. Left-hander. Don't get too much understeer and oversteer at the same point. Now this left-hander, it can be flat. Little lift for B Racing. Now again into the final chicane we go, very smooth, doesn't get that much rotation and gets a nice run. And now coming towards the start finish, that's a 32 to start with, and Blasi with that 31.4, River with a 31.6. Second and B Racing in 3rd, Shelty, then 4th with a 32.9, Stu a 33.6, Evok 33.7, Rick with a 35.0, Couch 36.2, White Tiger a 40.0 for the warm-up, Kip a 42, and Magnum aka Paul with an invalid lap to start that session. So yeah, it's 10 minutes in total, 4 minutes in already, and see if we get some improvements. So yeah, that 31.4, a very strong lap time already. Blasi won't be improving. What about River? I could see a 31.3 for me as an optimum, but that was all that was in for me. To be with a good run, touching the gaps, improves to a 31.9. Where's Shelty? A good lap, 31.8 up to P3 it is. Where's Couch? 33.5, so bigger gaps between the cars at the moment. 5 minutes in. Kip with a 32.7. A little bit sideways action going on into the first turn, but carries some decent momentum. Uses the tight line and can stay on the power. So 8 tenths that gap to P4, another 8 tenths to P6, and improvement 2.5 tenths nearly up. It's nice to see for Kip. Also Stu with a massive improvement, 8, 9 tenths. That is. Gets a little bit of a draft. Wait for the sector time. This could be a big one, and then he goes a bit too wide here, and that's all the momentum gone, lost. That's the tricky part of that track. Blasi with an improvement, 31.2, gets a little bit of a slip out of River by the looks. 31 seconds. Shelty moves up into second position onto the front row with a 31.6, just ahead of River. And B Racing stays in P4. Consistent lap times. It is 32 low, 31 high. Improving a little bit. And River goes right behind. The same goes for Blasi. 3 out of the top 4 in that qualifying session here. Very close on track. Too wide for River. Blasi is a bit down. Let's see. B Racing. This time no lift through the left-hander. Bit sideways. Yeah, speed was okay. Don't think that is an improvement. But we wait and see. Maybe he had a good middle sector. He did. 31.6. A 1/1000th of a second behind River in P3. Only Couch improved to a 32 flat. Kip in 6th, Stu in P7, Evoque P8, Magnum in P9, Rick in 10th, and White Tiger up to P8 now with 33.4. So we have to go to the top 4. See Shelty drifting it. Bit too much, maybe. It's easier that than done. And those gaps between Shelty, River, and B. Whoa! This time Blasi was up, and River with a little improvement. Can he maintain that speed, that momentum? It's so close between P2, 3 and 4. The final minute of the qualifying session has started. That was a decent exit speed coming out of the chicane. (31.8). Not quite. So Shelty finished that session. Lastly on that final lap, River on the final lap, B Racing P4. Koch Racing in P5 it is. 4/10 the gap. I heard some slow cars. Somewhere Stu didn't improve but gets one more chance. Kip is on that final lap, no aborts that one. Evoke finished that session with a personal best in P8. White Tiger finished. Magnum finished, and Rick is on his last lap of the session as well. Half-second penalty for Blasi. He won't be improving. What about B Racing and River? Final attempt. Bit wide. Just kept it on the asphalt. Didn't touch the gravel. So it all comes down to that final chicane. A bit too hot maybe. Gets a good run. A very good run indeed. So what was the delta throughout this lap? A 31.7. Still stays that 1/1000th of a second behind River in P4. So River in third, Shelty P2, Blasi with the pole position. Couch Racing finishes in P5, and I think that is the qualifying session. So 8, 5 and 3 points go to Blasi, Shelty and River for the championship standings. Yeah, nearly 4/10 to that low 31, yeah. Not a bad guess from my side, I guess. So, okay, quality results as usual. Need those screenshots. And then we have a look at the qualifying results. Blasi with that 31.2. Impressive lap. P1 Shelty. P2 front row start, then second row we have River Ruckus and B Racing. No gap between those two still. And third row we have Couch Racing and Stu. Row number 4 we have Kip and Evoke. Row number 5 it is White Tiger and Magnum. And in 7 and the 6th row have Rick. Oh, 2 minutes before we start that race. Everyone who needs to have a little bit of a break can do that. So again, I think we have an interesting setup. Top 4 maybe, again, as we've seen many times in the Masters Cup, might have a race. What about Couch Racing? Can he find those 2-3 tenths to stay with the top group? Still with a great qualifying session, but sitting a little bit in no man's land. Only Kip here, and then we have Evoke, White Tiger, Magnum, Rick. They could have a little battle hopefully going on for this one. All right. So we are starting soon. Good luck, everybody. Have a good race. And then let's get ready. for 30 minutes of racing action in the Toyota GR Corolla. I'll do that. Let's go. Standing start into the first turn. You can go side by side into turn number 1. You can also go around the outside. But it's a tricky one. And let's hope we don't see any punts into the sand. I'll keep my finger ready. And we're off. Oh, someone bogged down. Maybe a false start for Stu. I think it was after a great qualifying session. Didn't get the best start. Top 3, 4. They're going side by side. Shelty, River, B Racing, Couch Racing, Kip. Oh, a little bit of a contact happened. Someone had a weird contact. Kip was sent to the gravel. Oh, that didn't look nice. Was it you, Richie? I don't know. Or Shelty with an aggressive move. We nearly missed that. Gets into the lead. Blasi in second, River in third, and B Racing in P4 for the first time, approaching the braking zone for the uphill right-hander. Oh, Shelty gets that position. He is on the inside, Blasi on the outside. We have B Racing and River. They go side by side. B Racing holds it around the outside. Rivers to the inside. Who has the better line for the next left-hander? It's still side-by-side racing, and River has his nose just in front. Couch Racing right behind. We go Chase Cam through the chicane for the first time. We go, and we see the slipstream train forming. We go a little bit of a bump drop between Shelty and Blasi. They've opened up that gap. And River versus B side by side into the first turn. Slight touch of the gravel there for B Racing, which lost him a little bit of momentum. And he has to defend that position. Couch is on the inside. They go side by side. Wheels, door, bang in again. B Racing positioning his car on the inside. Gets the better run, but has a second already to River, who is 7/8 tenths behind Blasi, and Blasi right behind Shelty, 2 tenths. The gap. Shelty going semi-defensive. Gets a decent run uphill. We go. So top 5. Ewok just 8 tenths behind. Got past Magnum. White Tiger also very close still. Touches the gravel on the outside. We have penalties in the backfield. Stu, Kip, and Rick. 10 and 11. And back to the front. Shelty getting a nice little bump. Blasi not going for it. River, B and Couch. Then we have a little gap to Ewok. White Tiger with the move against Magnum. They go side by side. Understeer for White Tiger. He catches it. And Magnum a bit too aggressive. Can hold it though. So Couch 3 seconds behind Shelty. Still has a little bit of slip to B Racing in T4. With 1 second behind River Ruckus in the second. Once again, Shelby with a great middle sector opens up that gap half a second to Blasi. At the moment, a wild drift for the Italian driver, but to carry somehow the speed. Look at that gain on Shelby. That Shelby just lost and everyone is gaining. It looks like. Yeah, Couch now on the edge of dropping the front group. Not the best run through the chicane, 1.8. He's out of the slipstream range now. So it's down to 4 at the moment. 4 on the lead, and he racing with a nice little slip. Gets the fastest lap at 31.4. Goes side by side into turn number 1 with the River. Can he hug that inside line? He can. A great move into turn number 1 up to P3 it is. So we have a look once again from the replay camera. You're back with the live racing action. The 1.4 separating the top 4, then nearly 3 seconds the gap to Couch in P5. So he lost that slip. Can he bring it back? Just needs one little off track for the drivers. And sideways action all around. So last week I asked the drivers afterwards, did they enjoy it driving? They were like, hell no. But it looked so good. This car, it has everything, like 4-wheel drive, a bit of understeer, a bit of oversteer on exit, but yeah, a tricky car, but it's definitely, it makes for some great racing if you watch it. And River Rockers now lost a little bit of momentum, be racing with some serious pace. Closes that gap to the top 2 after roughly 7 minutes of racing. And we have Evok and Magnum fighting for position P6, P7. Stu and Kip 8th and 9th. White Tiger dropped down to P9, who's going very aggressive into the downhill part, touches the slow bit down here and gets a bit of dirty tires maybe as well. This gives Rick the opportunity to maybe get another position. Misses the apex slightly, uphill we go. Not the best run. No need to carry the speed uphill. And now Shelty very much under pressure. Will we see the bump drafting again? For now, I think it's faster, but I think the last couple of laps looks like Blasi a bit more pace. Now they go side by side through turn number 1, and Blasi lost momentum. Be racing right behind, but through this fast flowing chicane you cannot go side by side, so you have to be patient, wait for the next opportunity. This is basically all the single file. Downhill we go into the right hander again, drifting that rear a little bit, half a second that gap to Blasi, and be racing with a massive run. Will we see the dive down the inside? Be racing, no. Blasi defends the inside line. Might get a compromised run uphill. Goes a little bit over the sand and the gravel. Still has the inside line though. Be racing and have River then caught up again within half of a second. Little lift coming through the uphill left. Now the final chicane, very smooth braking inputs. You don't want that rear to step out. And be racing with the run. Blasi not with the slipstream. Goes defensive early. Makes that apex, but then touches the gravel on the outside again. That's the wrong camera. You plap. But that's what I want. Second now to Shelty, who might break away from this battle. Blasi struggling a little bit, having a hard time to keep you racing behind. So he will go defensive early, I think, for the next one. No, not this time. Oh, that is close. He still has position. Nowhere to go for now. But then a nice little move. Now be racing on the inside line. Can he keep it? Yes, he can. Blasi now dropped down to P3. The car gets sideways. He keeps that car within the track limits. Gets a better run out of the final chicane. But probably not enough to get into the strong slipstream. Oh, but B Racing with a penalty cut that chicane a bit too much. And Shelty with a 1.4 second gap already. Well, this is good news for Shelty. And how much time do you lose in the penalty zone? That is the question. We see Kras coming on to the track. And yeah, that's that half-second penalty. So you will get slowed down in the middle of the chicane. That is quite awkward. You will definitely lose some momentum down the main straight. Well, also, I think weird for the drivers behind. So if you're too close, it's not too good. So you probably keep it roughly at half a second. You should be fine. And B Racing is flying now. Tries to increase his gap. Maybe he can stay in front. See 7, 8 tenths. Brings that gap down to 1.2 to Shelty. But now here we go, entering the final chicane and the penalty zone. And here we go. He slowed down and he will lose that position. Pretty sure. So yeah, that is. Maybe he will also lose that position to River. Because now you think he's got that slipstream. So can keep that P3 for now. Oh, and Blasi goes a bit too deep into the first turn. Oh, that is a costly mistake. Just couldn't stop that car. Little drift and then it's down to P4 at the moment. So a big task now. Nearly 4 seconds that gap to Shelty in the lead with 17 minutes to go. So be rating couch racing in P5 with a bit of a lonely race. Ewok in P6 has still some cars right behind. Magnum drifting it like crazy. A 1 second penalty. The two TCR drivers, Stu and Kip, right behind, and also not too far behind Ewok, just 1.5 seconds. Magnum will lose that position after serving that penalty, and the two TCR drivers go side by side. Oh, again, a bit too wide. Uphill we go. Dirty tires. And inside line for Stu. Again, drifting it. And now, oh, that is the weird one I was talking about. Rick in P10 also with a lonely race. So Shelty now 1.7 seconds, the gap halfway through that race. Now has a little bit of a breather, but B Racing is pushing purple sector. River Rock is still close. Within a second, the same goes for Blasi after that little mistake. 1 second the gap to River, 3.6 to Shelty. And the two TCR drivers again going side by side. Downhill we go. Stu with the better run so far, but Kip is looking. Will he get the look? The inside? No. Staying behind for now. Maybe forcing Kip into a little mistake, and that's what happened. Bit of a wiggle uphill, and you lose so much time and momentum. And now here we go. We have Kip now on the inside. Can he hold it? Both can, yeah. And Magnum trying to get back to that fight for P7 it is. Jumping back and forth. Shelty keeping his lead. Not much changed so far. I think the racing is catching slightly, and that gap to River opened up. The same goes for Blasi, 1.3, 1.4 now. And 4 seconds now, the gap to the P1. Can and be racing with a massive lap so far, 3/10 purple. So he will get down to a 31.1 if he can keep up with that pace. Crawling back into the slipstream distance. He is pushing. You can see not the best became. Still, I think could be an improvement for that fastest lap of the race. 31.3. 0.7 for River, 32.2 for Blasi now, losing the slipstream to River Ruckus now as well. Couch, a lonely race, and Evok with nearly 3 seconds, and then those two make it 3 cars maybe. Kip, Stu, and Magnum again a bit too hot. As soon as I was talking about him, he makes a mistake. Let's see. Rick can improve his lap times. 33.8 personal best. And indeed it is. Racing caught up, now has definitely some slipstream down that long straight. 1.2 seconds. It is a great run uphill. We go, and Shelty very sideways and gets a penalty. That was too much grass, definitely. He got that all wrong. There we go, half a second, and this is the opportunity for B Racing now to grab the lead on the next lap. Good news for Blasi, he's within the slipstream range again, but that gap to the leader is not coming down at all. Stays above 4 seconds. 7/10 between E-Racing and Shelty. Shelty carrying the half-second penalty. So if the gap stays like this, then we have a new race leader. When we cross the start-finish line for the next time. Half a second, that is well within the range. Both going sideways, and whoa, the awkward part. So how much of a gap will it be to Shelty? 6-7 tenths? So after leading for quite some time, now being the hunter, maybe can help Shelty to get back into a rhythm. But with those the gravel pits everywhere and the penalty zone, the final chicane, I think no one is safe. Again, a great middle sector for E-Racing. Carries the momentum. 9 tenths. It is now. Look at that. The second already. Could be that E-Racing is now flying away. Great lap. 31.3 all by himself. A 31.8 for Shelty. Still has a little bit of slipstream. Largely up to P3. Got past the river. And it's still 4 seconds to the leaders. So river down to P4. And Couch in 5th. Got past the Ewok. And Kip not too far behind in P8, 2 seconds. It looks like Magnum had a mistake somewhere. Let's see if we can find that lap. 35, 36, 34. Couple of off tracks would be my interpretation. And E-Racing is flying. 1.2 seconds already. He's on a mission again. And the two very close, Bloody and River. Can they work together maybe? Again, messy entry to that chicane. River getting a little bit of a run, but not close enough to bump Bloody. Can someone get that fastest lap? Those 5 extra points. 31.3 currently. Personal best for Shelty. Look at that. He's still in it. Just a second, and yeah, it's just takes one little mistake somewhere and off track. Boom. But again, a committed run downhill. 1.2 it is again. Good run for both B-Racing carrying a bit more speed, drifting it, uses all of the blue stuff. It wasn't as quick as earlier. Shelty will gain a little bit. And that was a mistake. Lost some momentum under 1 second. He avoided the track limit penalty. And another improvement for Shelty, 31.4, getting closer to that fastest lap. Blasi also personal best, 8.6. Half a second penalty for the Italian. So we will see a change of position after the next lap, probably between Blasi and River. Do we have any other close battles? Don't think so. Kip with a mistake. Lost contact to Stu and Evok. Can Magnum bring that gap down? 1.4 it is. So less than 5 minutes to go. Time is flying again. A second, roughly, between the front runners. A nice little drift. Was it fast? Don't think so. Not initially. This is the important bit, and both with a good one. B-Racing increasing his lead once again now. Concentration for that chicane. Again, not taking the ultimate risk, so losing a tenth or two every time through that chicane. We can rely on the middle sector usually. There's a gap that is big enough to stay in the lead, and yeah, as expected, River got past Blasi. The gap stays around 1 second, bit of a drift for both of the drivers, who carries more momentum. Looks like B-Racing again. The initial drift positions the car in a good angle to get onto the power early. Downhill this time, not gaining that much. 9/10 it is. Less than 3 minutes to go. Oh, bit of a wiggle for Shelty. He will lose a tenth, maybe more. We'll see. No, gets a good run. A bit of a slow section for B-Racing under 9/10. Now gap is coming down and down. So that chicane again, very careful. Lost another 1.5 tenths, and will lose even more coming down the straight. So 2 more laps to go. Penultimate lap it is. It's between the two TCR drivers for the victory. Podium battle, River and Blasi. We stay with the battle for the lead. 7/10. Good run. Again a bit wide, but I had to lift slightly uphill. Personal best first sector. That slipstream definitely helping. Now on the downhill part, B-Racing again with a great run, opening up that gap. 9/10 it is. It stays roughly at 9/10. We see another close, both drivers. This time B-Racing more committed, keeps the gap at 8.5 tenths and starting the final lap of the race. Now, what about River and Blasny? Blasny with a mistake. 1.8, 1.92 seconds now with damage. Was risking it all. Didn't pay off. So it's a second, less than a second, depending on the update of the delta between the top two drivers. So we get Shelty's perspective. Bit sideways. It's close as it ever was. Less than 6 tenths for a brief moment, going up to 7 tenths. Can be racing, keep his calm. Keeps it on track, so just one, maybe two tricky sections coming up. Shelty is pushing, so that one is mastered now. The final chicane. Sideways. B Racing keeps it within the track limits and will win round number 6. Once again, great race for the Dutch driver. Shelty with a P2. Great race. River will finish on the podium in P3. And Blasi with the first defeat on home soil. P4 it is. Then kart racing could keep up with the front runners for the first 2-3 laps and lost the slipstream. And then it was a lonely race in the end. It's P5. Stu crosses the line in P6. Evok in a P7. And Kip 8. Magnum finished 9th. Rick in 10th. And White Tiger retired the car. Will finish in P11. So interesting development for the championship. This will be racing again, gaining some points on Blasi. With 2 rounds to go, we have a nice little battle for the top spot between the two drivers. And some River staying in 3rd. The championship standings. Just my usual things of B Racing with the victory and the fastest lap. That is massive points. Shelty in P2, River 3rd, Blasi P4. So those 4 very similar on pace. It just came down to avoiding a couple of penalties and then staying in touch. And Couch Racing P5, Stu in 6th position. I think one of the best results for Stu in the Masters Cup. Ewok P7, Kip in 8th. And on the second page we have Doug Ritchie in 9th, Rick in 10th, and White Tiger P11. Alright. So let's just bring up the schedule once again for next week. Car change, Porsche. Time for the final 2 rounds. And it's the GT3 RS with 2 rounds remaining, Trial Mountain and Track and Trail Gardens. And that championship battle is coming down to the wire between B Racing and Chico Blasi. So yeah, so I'll make sure I have the replay. I will share it for you. Just saw a message that e-racing unable to save it. I will do that for you and share it then. Yeah, that's it for this week. CLR live streaming on YouTube. We will be back next week. Tuesday will be the re-live for the TEC Season 15 round number 3 at the Red Bull Ring with a little bit of rain on the forecast. And on Thursday we have round 7 of the Masters Cup. So hope to see you all there. Have a nice rest of the day. Have a good weekend already. And see you soon. Take care. Love you all. Yippee-ki-yay. Bye bye.